Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to our channel once again. In this video, I want us to look at the blunders, the costly blunders that the fake abduction of Juja Member of Parliament, George Koimburi, has cost Rigathi Gachagua and his team. I want us to begin the video by going through a post by Moses Kuria. Because you all know that on Sunday, George Koimburi attended a church service in Kiambu. And after that church service, he was allegedly abducted in a Subaru. The next day, George Koimburi was found in some coffee plantation. He was tortured and left for dead. And from the photos which emerged, the man was clearly injured, clearly hurt. The man was in pain. Sadly, all this was staged. He was rushed to hospital and then later transferred to Karen Hospital, where the only people who have seen him are Rigathi Gachagua and his allies. And that's a very costly blunder for Rigathi Gachagua and his team. And I'm going to explain why in this video. First of all, let us go through a post by Moses Kuria. This is what Moses Kuria is posting. During the May 2021 Juja by-election, my party candidate won the seat with 55% of the votes against the Jubilee candidate who got 25%. It was a home derby between me and my friend President Uhuru Kenyatta. My candidate faced all obstacles from a very powerful and determined regime, including arrest, etc. We had to use all tactics to remain on the ballot and win. This week, it's getting very interesting here. I've seen my candidate try the same tactics. Only he was trying to do so without the brain of the original script writer and even did not have the requisite knowledge to read the script. I should have warned him, do not try this at home. But then his district commissioner's party leader was an active star of the University of Nairobi Traveling Theatre in the 80s. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to look at why this fake abduction is going to be costly for Rigathi Gachagua and his allies.
This is the first case I've ever seen somebody who's not even, we don't know whether he's critically ill or not, nobody can see him. Only Wamunyoro group is a speaker. And they're the only ones who can speak to the public that we have visited our friend, he was inhaling some gas or something like that. Mr. Speaker, the director of this drama, now I've come to conclusion that the director of this drama is none other than one Mr. Wamunyoro. This is the same thing he did when he was running away from interrogation at the Senate. You remember? During the impeachment. He went and admitted himself in the same hospital, Mr. Speaker. The same disease, the same hospital, the same bed, the same visitors, the same doctor, nobody else can see you.
But Mr. Speaker, it is on that note that it would be very, very unfortunate that an honorable member would make me waste time sympathizing and standing with him if at all he has actually faked his own abduction. It would be very unfortunate after our own member of parliament has been shot dead that you bring theatrics that touch on our security. Today it may be drama, tomorrow it may be a reality. When you cry wolf, one day it will be a reality and there will be nobody to deal with you.
Because the moment Juja MP was allegedly abducted, the entire country made noise about that abduction. Because abductions have been happening in the country, and remember, this is a member of parliament leaving church and just being abducted like that. And it was coming at a time when another member of parliament had just left parliament and was actually eliminated. Ladies and gentlemen, the DCI then embarked on telling Kenyans the truth. They started their investigations. And I can tell you from what they've investigated, their right. The first thing they did was to find the details about the car which was used to abduct Koimburi.
The Juja CDF manager. And after they were given the vehicle, they concealed the registration number to read KDQ 803B. So when we were conducting our investigations, KDQ 803B led us to a Toyota Saloon. But after we did a thorough forensic analysis, we realized that this could be a fake number. So what we did is after the forensic analysis, we got this number KDG and established that now KDG was a Subaru Forester and belonging to Cyrus Muhi. And we arrested the Cyrus Muhi, and that's now when he disclosed to us that the vehicle was indeed borrowed from him by the Juja CDF chairman. And that's how the whole thing unfolded. And then this vehicle...
Then they followed so many things, including where Koimburi slept and probably how and why he was dropped there.
It's quite inconceivable for a honorable member of parliament to go to that extent of state managing his own abduction, creating a lot of tension and fear in the country. Fortunately, we were able to expedite the investigations and to expose him to the public that the member of parliament was indeed not abducted. We were able to account for all his movements from the time he attended the church up to where he slept that night. We have even identified the hotel and the room number that he slept. But in order not to prejudice our investigations, we may not be able to share that information at this point in time. But definitely, we are going to share that information with him. And again, it is unfortunate that being a victim, the investigating team were denied access to go and interview the Honorable Member of Parliament, which we very believe that he did not suffer any injuries whatsoever. And perhaps he could as well be staying at the Karen Hospital enjoying his 5-course meal. In terms of the motive, we have two theories. One, the Member of Parliament was very privy to the fact that we were looking for him for two offenses. One is a matter of land fraud that we investigated, and the file was forwarded to the DPP, and the DPP had approved sanction. And the Member of Parliament knew very well that he was to be arrested and prosecuted. And beside that also, we are also reading an element of politics to trying to cause fear and anxiety in the country. So we are reading a political motive in the entire drama.
But at Karen Hospital, this is what Rigathi Gachagua told the nation.
You remember last weekend I said that a special squad had been set aside, and now we have confirmation that President William Ruto, CS for Interior Kipchumba Murkomen, and the Deputy Inspector General, Mr. Eliud Langat, all from the Kalenjin community, have put up a squad to deal with leaders who are opposed to this regime. The Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen has sent a message to us through common friends that his appointment to the Ministry of Interior is to make sure that William Ruto is re-elected as president and to deal with anybody who can stop that objective. Officers from the National Police Service has confirmed to us that a special squad of 20 police officers from the Nandi sub-ethnic community are the ones behind the abduction of George Koimburi, and they are the ones that were deployed in Kakamega to target the Honorable John Methu and Karungo Athangwa. Specifically, there were about 300 police officers who were deployed in Kakamega, but 20 police officers from the Nandi sub-ethnic community under the direct command of the Deputy Inspector General, Eliud Langat, and reporting to Kipchumba Murkomen and William Ruto, had been assigned to harm the Senator for Nyandarua and the Senator for Kiambu.
So the biggest question is, was Rigathi aware that Koimburi was not abducted? Or was it part of this game plan? Before we get into all those details, for those who are watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, was Rigathi Gachagua aware that Koimburi was not abducted? Or was it part of the script? Because yesterday, Parliament was actually on fire.
Malala might be the script writer, the director is a former deputy president, and the actor now is Koimburi. Just like during the impeachment process, as the Honorable Junet says, the former deputy president appeared here looking very dark. But because he knew there was no cross-examination in the National Assembly during the impeachment process, he had the audacity and the guts to come and try defend himself here. But he did not have the courage to face the house where he would be cross-examined. He faked sickness, ended up being admitted in Karen Hospital, apparently in the same room, same bed. I am not certain, and I want to speak to my good friend, Dr. Gekonyo, a man of very high integrity and a good doctor in this country, and plead with him not to allow his hospital to be misused by these people who are otherwise common street criminals, Honorable Speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that this all staged abduction is going to have a big political impact on Rigathi Gachagua going forward. Why? Number one, Rigathi Gachagua and the team have now lost the abduction narrative. For those who have been following this channel, I've explained that William Ruto was actually changing his strategy on how he was dealing with Rigathi Gachagua. In the mountain, he had dispatched Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki to go to the ground, because at least for Kindiki, he's a bit welcomed. Ruto and the mountain, not welcomed. And the other strategy he was using was use of police force, which was true on Rigathi Gachagua and his allies. And Rigathi Gachagua has always complained about police brutality. Now Rigathi Gachagua is being part, or appearing to be part, of this all staged abduction. Tomorrow what will happen if, for example, Rigathi Gachagua will go to a place, then goons, real goons, invade? Who will he blame? Will the government take responsibility, or will Kenyans just conclude that maybe it is part of the game plan? Number two, the sympathy card. There's one thing about Kenyans. If you appear to be weak, then they tend to support you. Rigathi Gachagua appeared to be weak, and Kenyans were really supportive of him. I'm 100% sure, because the DCI have convinced me. I was one of the people who swallowed the bait about this abduction. They have convinced me that they have conducted investigations and that this abduction was all staged. Sympathy card is now gone. Sympathy. Because the intention was to win sympathy. And it has always happened before. Right now, I doubt if there's any single individual who can still sympathize with Koimburi. who can still sympathize with Rigathi Gachagua when he will claim that he's being targeted, when he can stand at Karen Hospital and tell Kenyans that this guy was actually given some chemical which has interfered with his vocal cords. He cannot speak. Total lies. Number 3, and for me, I think this is what the government wanted. And Rigathi Gachagua and his team simply played into their hands the real abductions. Let me ask you, if tomorrow Koimburi will be abducted, the real abduction, and the family and the rest post, do you think Kenyans will take it seriously? If tomorrow an ally of Rigathi Gachagua were to be abducted, real abduction, who will believe them? So the government cannot execute their plans without fear. Internationally, Kenya had emerged as a banana republic because of these abductions. Now the Kenyan government can now stand on a podium and say that some of these abductions are actually staged by politicians, and they can give the case of the Juja MP. And lastly, what Kenya Kwanza wanted was a propaganda tool to use. What has happened is that now they've been given a propaganda tool which they can actually use if they want. They can use it to advance their narrative. They can use it to hit on Rigathi Gachagua and the team. They can use it to arrest Rigathi Gachagua's allies like Koimburi. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.